Hello, gentlemen. These are your warm-ups for this week. Please title this first warm-up Warm-up 89. Number 1, Nehemiah chapter 8. What does Ezra summon the people to do? Number 2, Nehemiah chapter 9. Write one verse from the national confession Ezra makes on behalf of the people. Number 3, Nehemiah chapter 10. Name one person who signed the covenant. Number 4, Nehemiah chapter 11. Who lived in Jerusalem? Number 5, Nehemiah chapter 12. What did the Levites do at the dedication of the Jerusalem city wall? Answers to Warm Up 89. Number 1, obey the law. Number 2, you are a God ready to forgive, gracious and merciful, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love, and you did not forsake them. Number 3 is Hanan. Number 4, 1 out of 10 people. And number 5, they purified themselves, and they purified the people, and the gates, and the wall. Next warm up for this week is warm up 90. We will finish Nehemiah, which is the end of the time period of the return, and we enter the last Old Testament time period, which is 1 Maccabees. Number 1, Nehemiah chapter 13. What was one reform Nehemiah made? Number 2, 1 Maccabees chapter 1. Who was in power at the beginning of chapter 1? Number 3, 1 Maccabees chapter 1. What did Antiochus Epiphanes do to the Jews? Number 4, 1 Maccabees chapter 2. How do Mattathias and his sons fight back against Antiochus? Number 5, 1 Maccabees chapter 3. Who takes command of the Jewish revolution when Mattathias dies? Answers to Warm Up 90. He returned the vessels of the house of God to their proper place. Number 2, Alexander the Great was in power at the very beginning. Then he dies and Antiochus comes to power. And number 3, Antiochus occupies Jerusalem, desecrated their temple, and forced them to worship Greek gods. Number 4, Mattathias and his sons refuse to worship false gods, and Mattathias dies for his faith, along with many others. Number 5, Judas Maccabeus, the son of Mattathias, comes to command the revolution, and that's why it's called the Book of the Maccabees. The final warm-up for this week is warm-up 91. Number 1, 1 Maccabees chapter 4. Where does the battle take place in chapter 4? Number 2, 1 Maccabees chapter 4. How do Judas and his brothers cleanse and rededicate the temple? Number 3, 1 Maccabees chapter 4. What did Judas and his brothers determine should happen every year? Number 4, 1 Maccabees chapter 5. When the Gentiles heard that the altar had been rebuilt and the sanctuary rededicated, what did they do? Number 5, 1 Maccabees chapter 6. What does Antiochus Epiphanes say before he dies? Answers to Warm Up 91. Number 1 is Emmaus. Number 2, they offered worship and sacrifice and dedicated it with songs for 8 days. Number 3, that Hanukkah, or the dedication of the altar, should be observed for 8 days every year, beginning with the 25th day of the month of Chislev. Number 4, they began to kill and destroy the Jewish people. And number 5, Antiochus said, I remember the wrong I did in Jerusalem. I know it is because of this that these misfortunes have come upon me. Here I am, perishing of bitter disappointment in a strange land. So he had an awareness of what he had done, and he died with that regret. Gentlemen, this completes your warm ups for this week.